Hi, beautiful people. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I just am here, the creator and writer of the Honestly Sis newsletter, a bi-weekly newsletter geared towards millennials who are truly trying to get their shit together. And I am here for another daily motivational video where we use the tarot to become the alchemists of our lives. So how are you guys doing? I hope that you are doing well. Let's just go ahead and get right into it. Dear God, guardian angels, and ancestors. Oh, if you are new to the channel, welcome. I am. Always make sure that you check out the description box below because there are always angel messages and it's additional guidance that for whatever may have came up in a reading. If I may have referred to an article, that will be down below. And of course, if you're interested in working with me, that information is down in the box below. All right, y'all, let's get into it. Dear God, guardian angels, and ancestors, we tell you hopefully as we know how to say thank you. Thank you for allowing us to connect this way. Now, dear God, guardian angels, and ancestors, I ask that you please deliver these messages to me and through me. Allow no room for doubt or confusion in me or the viewer mind. In God's name I pray. Ashe. All right. Let's get into it. 2 cards. I don't know, y'all. I'm kind of pushing myself to do the readings this week. I don't know. I feel in a weird space. So, let's see what comes up. It's like I'm in a good space, but I just have been more so focused on writing and and honestly, this fucking Alec Murdoch trial. So, I have to change up my thing. All right, angel number 132. So, guys, the two messages that came out is flexibility and strength. And right away, I'm getting this message that God is saying that there is actually strength in being flexible. I think sometimes we think that when we start an endeavor, for some reason, I'm getting this idea about Honestly Sis and how I'm thinking about, changing it and repurposing it and doing it different ways and being, flexible in my approach because I really believe in it. But I feel like I'm reaching the ceiling and I'm not really, getting the people that are not reaching the audience that I want to reach. And I feel like I'm also not cultivating the audience that I want. And so I'm going to repurpose and do something differently with Honestly Sis. And I feel like God is saying maybe there may be something that you're working on. Maybe it may not just be an adventure. Maybe it may be your life. I feel like when we get very rigid and being like, oh, I have to journal every day or I have to do yoga 5 times a day. I have to. Like when we do things like that or make things super strict, sometimes we do a disservice for ourselves. We can get ourselves in a place where we get tired of doing the same things. And I just feel like right now, God is asking us to have a flexible approach about life and knowing that you being willing to change directions, you being willing to pivot, that doesn't make you weak, that doesn't make you less of a person. It's actually strength in that. And actually, this is kind of really interesting because it's we have this angel here doing a bend, going being flexible. And then here we have this angel standing strong. We have this tree that is symbolized there. And I feel like that's what God is saying. It's the thing is, oh, I get it. God is saying once you know yourself and once you're clear on who you want to be and where you want to go, that's good. But we need to then be flexible in our approach and how to get there. So I tell you guys all the time, when I first started writing my book, all I had was just the idea to write my book. I was not, I wasn't doing yoga. I definitely wasn't doing my newsletter. I was just writing my book. And then as the process of me writing my book, as I start healing myself, as I started getting into this whole healing journey, as I started living my life, all of these different things came about. Now, I could have been no, God told me to write a book, so I'm not going to do all these other things. Then I would have blocked my blessings. Then I would have never had this YouTube channel, or I never would have, got that yoga certification. So I would have never got to see that different side of myself. So this is what God is saying. He's saying when you have a vision for yourself, it's good to have a vision. It's good to have an end goal, but then you have to be flexible in how you get to that end goal. Okay. All right. I like that message. Let's go ahead and go to the cards and let's just get our energy towards flexibility and strength. Dear God, guardian angels, and ancestors, clarify this message of flexibility and strength. Really trying to get us to understand about being flexible in our approach of reaching our goals as long as we stay strong in who we are. Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's I used to be a very big fan. Her name is Erica Simon Williams. I don't know where she at. I I love that lady. I don't even know her, but I really, really love that lady. Like, I just feel a real kindred spirit to her. Anyway, so she had a podcast called The Call. I'll make sure I put it down below. And in one of her podcasts, it was like the episode, I'll put her episode. She actually did an episode where she was being interviewed. And so we got to learn more about her. And she was just talking about how she kind of has like all of these different, jobs. And what she realized is that for her, it's not about being like so tied down to having a certain job, like having a certain job title. For her, it's about her mission and what she's wanting to accomplish. So if she is able to, get a job that is that may look kind of out there. Okay, I feel like I'm confusing you guys. I'm confusing myself. Control Alt Delete. I'm going to explain this. So Erica Simon Williams originally started her career as on Washington, D.C. because she had this need. Her father, he was in the church. She noticed that her father was just constantly, giving himself to people. And what the analogy that she was using was that when a baby, like her dad kept like saving these babies from the river. And it's like, you can either save the babies from the river or you can go up the hill and figure out who was pushing these babies into the river, right? And so what she decided was, I'm going to go up on a hill. Which is literally Washington, D.C., and figure out how to, stop the problems that are affecting the Black community. And what she realized was that there was only so much that she could do there. And so then from that point, I think she ventured off into, well, of course, she had her podcast. I think she did some TV stuff, but it's like she did all of these different things, but it still was in service to that same mission, answering the call, helping Black people find their voice and be true to themselves, or women, so she always had that singular mission, but she had all of these different job sets. And also the other thing that I feel like that is so important and why Erica is coming up in my spirit is because what Erica realized is that just because she had a certain type of job set and a certain type of skill set, so say her resume said a certain thing, okay, mine says I'm an accountant, but I'm really more than an accountant. At this point, I'm a project accountant, and I'm more than just a project accountant because I understand what it means to do project delivery. I understand what it means to run budgets. I understand how to forecast, how to analyze. Those are all the things that I learned in my job. But then let's think about all the things I know in my side jobs, or the things that I do outside of work. Angel number 747. I know how to teach yoga. I know mindful practices. I know breathing techniques. I know how to do meditations. I know how to do an hour yoga flow. I know how to read tarot. I know how to channel. Like, it's so much other thing. There are so many things that I also know how to do. And so if I was to go and look for a job, I could use both of those skill sets. I could literally right now, unfortunately, Hollywood is not set up this way, but I genuinely have all the criteria and the experience to be a showrunner. I know how to run a budget. I know how to take care of financials. I also know how to have people management because of my job position in corporate America. And then also on the creative side, I know how to put a story together. I know how to outline. So it's like, I may not know all of the creative parts of it, but I am more confident in myself that I know that I could put those two things together, and maybe later down the line I could be a showrunner. And so I say that to say this thing about being flexible. It's like, once you know your strengths, you realize that you can do anything. You can put yourself in any category. And for some reason, I feel like this message is coming about because you are like counting yourselves out about certain jobs. I feel like for whoever this message is, you are thinking about applying for a job, or for some reason you like, oh, your resume doesn't necessarily have, the traditional background for that person that would have that job. But for what God is telling me is that you need to, on your cover letter, all that the stuff that you do on your extracurricular activity, you need to put that on your cover letter and explain in great detail why you are the person for that job. Before, when I was I was trying to find my way, and I kept going back and forth about, I was like, I need to find a job. I wanted to find a job out of public accounting because I thought that was the path. I thought that's what, in order for me to be successful, I can't be tied into a traditional, corporate job. And so I was applying for all of these creative positions. And of course, I didn't have the traditional background, but I took that cover letter and then I looked at what was those, what was the responsibilities and all those jobs. And I literally crafted my cover letter to where I explained how I was qualified for that job. I'm like, yeah, I may be a project accountant, but also for the last, 5 years, I have been running a newsletter. I have been running my own organization. Or even before that, I was working as a mentor in another organization. What God is trying to tell you is that you are more than qualified for wherever you want to be. It's just like you have to be flexible in your approach and stop counting yourself out before you even apply. So whoever that message is for, God is saying, go for it. You need to go head towards whatever this goal is, wherever you want, run towards with fast pace, but also having flexibility. You have to just be mindful of your approach. Again, I just feel like God is saying you need to be open. And also I feel like that message is twofold. For you, apply for that job that you think that you're not necessarily qualified for, but you are qualified for. And then also for, the other ones of you who are just on a job search, God is just saying, widen your field. Like, go rush towards the things that you want and then be flexible in how it could come in your life. Like, stop discounting yourself and saying, oh, I'm not qualified. Because the next card that came out is the Four of Pentacles. And the Four of Pentacles is, you tell me what you see. It looks like this person is literally holding on to things, energy number 1138, because he's had fear of nothing is ever going to get better. And this is God saying, this is coming under strength, and this is your problem. You're holding so tight to things. You're feeling like, oh, these are just the things I'm good at. I got my degree in here. I got my degree. I got my MBA. So all I can do is finance jobs. This is all I can do. When God is saying, no, there is so many other things that you could do if you would just be willing to make a choice. This came out reverse because I feel like deep down inside, you know what you want to do. You have an idea for it, but you're just not ready to really make that decision. And with these pentacles, like these two pentacles came out. It's like, and two pentacles and a sword. So it's about how you speak to yourself, how you speak about money matters, how you speak about your career. God is saying you need to change that up, and only you can decide. It's time for you to make a decision on, are you going to live your life, live the life of your dreams, or are you just going to keep living this regular degular life, like a life that doesn't really excite you, but you're just, holding on to your little piece of nothing. Like, what are you really going to do about your life? Underneath this all is the judgment energy, and this is what God is saying. I feel like this is like the second time this card then came out. But this is just where we are. Like, I keep telling you guys, like, the last shall be first. We talk about that all the time in the Bible. This is actually happening now. This is really, really happening in real life. And so this is why God is just really trying to be like, be flexible. I am super into the Tarot Priest. I will make sure I put her information down below. But she also stressed the importance. I wonder if I have it. I have, like, if you could see this, or you can see it kind of in the background, I have like sticky notes everywhere. But she stressed the importance that there's nothing for you to figure out. I think, and I also have been getting that. It's like I heard it from her, and then like God has been putting that in my spirit over and over. I also have some shorts, so make sure that you're subscribed to the channel so you can see that. But it's like, God, I feel like us worrying and us trying to figure shit out is what really fucks up the flow. Like, it's like, we're like, oh, okay, well, I only know these amount of people. And it's like, you gotta just get out of that. Judgment Day, like, the help is here. This is what the judgment is about. Do you feel like you've done enough goodness? Do you have enough good karma in the world into where you feel like the universe will help you out? Do you feel that? You need to make that decision. Angel number 1414. You need to decide. Do you believe that you are, you've lived a good enough life that God can bless you to make a pivot? Because I think that's the problem. Like, a lot of us, and I feel like I'm always talking to these, first generation college kids who's like, you went to school because your parents told you you're supposed to do it. You became a pharmacist because this is what your parents told you were supposed to do. And it's like, you're miserable and you're dying inside and you're just like, And the thing, and you're mad at God, but you shouldn't be mad at God. You should really be mad at your parents, because your parents is the ones who deterred you from doing what you really, really wanted to do, not God. And so what God is saying is, hey, just because you went down the wrong path, it doesn't mean that you can't correct it. It doesn't mean that you can't pivot. This is the whole thing about being flexible at any given time in our life. This is the whole purpose of our life. Thank you, God. The whole purpose of our life is to have this moment of where we realize, look at this. I've never looked at this card like this until today. There are literally people coming out the casket. So this is what God is saying. There is a point of your life where you're just going to be living dead inside. You're just going through the flow. You're just checking the balances. You're just doing what you're supposed to do. And then you have that moment of when you realize, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to make a choice. I don't want to live like this. I want to live towards my dreams. And then God, literally the heavens open up. Your angels are happy. Your spirit team are doing praise dances because they recognize like, oh shit, this bitch is alive. She's alive. She realized that it's her time. This is what we're saying. This judgment here is not, we keep talking about the return to Christ. The return to Christ is a spiritual thing. It's happening in your body. It's literally happening right now. You have to decide, okay, I'm done living life like that. I'm not living my life like that no more. Then the trumpets come out and then the help comes. What is this? We know what this means. This is help. Help is here. And this is what God is saying. Help is here if you would just stop being so scared. You're so worried. You're just holding on to your little bit of nothing, thinking that you ain't gonna never have nothing else. But guess what? What if things can get better? I always have that image of that little girl with that little bear, and God is like, let me have that bear, and he has this big ass bear behind his back. That is your life. You're holding on to these niggas that kind of like you, to this job that kind of make you feel good, to these friends that kind of fuck with you, when you could really have the best of things. But it's up to you. You have to decide, is judgment here for you? Is this it? Or is this how your life gonna be forever? You got to make a choice. Oh my, what the tower? Angel number 1656. With the tower. Because the moment that you decide, I'm not living my life like that no more, fuck that, everything changed. Everything changed. And you don't need a spell. You don't need a magic book. You don't need a full moon to come out. You don't need to be living in a certain area. You just need to decide in your mind, body, and spirit, fuck this. I'm not living life like this no more. And God is like, yes, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. But don't take my word for it. Don't take my word for it. That message got me hype. I wasn't even ready. To do these readings, and that message got me hype. I will pray success wherever I see it. Stop hating on other people. I'm so happy because now when I see Lizzo, I'm just so happy. I'm just so full of joy. I was so happy when she came out with her boyfriend. When I be her little ass, I'm about to go get some Libby. And I look at her and I'm like, oh, she's just so beautiful. And I know I healed that fucking trigger. Because she don't trigger me no more. Because when I see her win, I see me win. And that's what you got to realize. These people that keep triggering you, they're triggering you because they showing you, you can do it if you stop being so scared. You could be here too if you stop being so scared. Angel number 1814. All right, guys, let's clarify this message and get on out of here. We have the Two of Pentacles. Just give us one quick tool that we can use. Two of Pentacles, Knight of Swords, Judgment card, Four of Pentacles with the Tower. The Tower. Not the Tower. All right, God. Why is it so important for us to be flexible in our approach with life? Why are you telling us that we can pivot at any time? Please, God, allow no room for doubt or confusion in me or the viewers' mind. I'm kind of glad I did these videos now. I sound like Kiki. Megan said the stallion. Shout out to Kiki Palmer. Ain't we happy she pregnant? Yes, we are. It's Black women. Look around, y'all. It's Black women winning season. It's Black women winning season. It's our time. It's our time. Thank you, Papa X. It's our time. I love Malcolm X so much. I gotta get my tattoo. I'm definitely a child of X, baby. All right, so the message that we need to focus on is I am developing the skill to direct my thoughts. This is what God wants us to do. I am developing the skill to direct my thoughts. It's like, no. All right, y'all. The most valuable skill or tool. Remember I was telling y'all right here, what did I say? I ain't gonna get on I'm not gonna get on my own dick today, 1945, but the first thing that I said was, you gotta speak differently over your thoughts. You gotta think about it differently, because the process of creation happens in 3 steps. What is it? It first happens in the thoughts you think, the words you speak, and the actions that you take. All right, whatever, yeah. You're new here. You're new here, but that's the process. I say this a lot on the channel. You'll start saying it with me as well, because I want you to get this in your mind. Everything happens that way. Every single thing. Remember, in The Alchemist, he was having that dream about the treasure all the time. And remember, he could have kept just having that dream about the treasure and just kept being a sheep boy. But because he kept having a dream, because he went to go see that bitch, the fortune teller, and she told him like, oh yeah, it's a possibility that could happen. It actually took for him to go do it. And this is what God is trying to say this. Oh my God, I just did a short about this. God can give you prophecies. God can give you visions. God can give you all of this about your life, but it's on you to actually take it down and be like, you know what? Yes, this is going to be my reality. This is going to be what I choose to do. The most valuable skill or talent that you could ever develop is that of directing your thoughts towards what you want. To be apt at quickly evaluating all situations and then quickly coming to the conclusion of what you want most, then giving your undivided attention to that, there is tremendous skill in deliberately directing your own thoughts that will yield results that cannot be compared by mere action alone. I want to tell you guys, I've been learning. I'm not going to say this on the channel, but I had something come into my life. The better that it gets, with me starting to be more mindful and being way more picky about my energy. I did something that was a really big thing for me to do. I was really, really nervous about it. And then I ended up being blessed because of that, which was to me a physical manifestation, a visual reminder that I was on the right path. And so I want you guys to realize, in my conversation with God's book, I have been reading over this passage about, how we feel like, to be good people, we have to do things for the love of another person. But honestly, the whole point of that and what the Bible really meant is that you need to do things for the love of yourself. So which means that you don't go to certain environments. You don't put yourself in anything that will make you feel uncomfortable. And it also goes further to say that if you are in a situation where you're being abused, whether it's with your parent, whether it's with your lover, whether it's with a friend, angel number 2224, if you're constantly allowing that person to abuse you, what is that person learning? That person is not learning that they're abusing you, and they're not learning that it's bad to do that behavior, because you just keep accepting it. You're hurting yourself and you're hurting that person. And so what God is trying to say is that by taking care of yourself, by making a decision that is in the highest good for yourself, you also do that in turn for another, because guess what? We're all one. And so this is what God is trying to get you to understand about when you see certain things out in the world. Like, you're living your life because you're like, I want to make my mom happy, this. But guess what? Is your mom really happy? Look at your mom life. We are taking advice from people who are not even happy in their own life. And so what God is saying, if you've been having that nagging feeling like, I want to do something different, all you got to do is just make up your mind that you're going to do something different, and then just start moving in that direction, and then God will do the rest. You don't have to worry about who are the clients, who are the people that are going to get you, who's going to support you. You don't need that, because the universe supports you, and that's the greatest support that you can ever have. But you have to develop that mindset to believe that that's your new reality, okay? The last message is, my life is as good as I allow it to be. Many people focus upon unwanted, remember the same thing we were saying here, with no deliberate attention to the emotional guidance systems within them. And then they try to compensate for their lackful thinking with physical action. Because of their misalignment of their energy, they do not get the results from their actions. So they try even harder by offering more action, but still things do not improve. And so this is what God is saying. This is what happened with you guys. You guys are rushing head towards focusing towards things that you do not want, not paying any attention to the internal guidance system that is happening within you. And because of your misalignment, all you are doing is getting more situations that are making you feel lack and making you feel like you need to hold on to things. Angel number 2524. So what God is saying is, like the air you breathe, abundance is available in all things. Like the air you breathe, abundance in all things is available to you. Your life will simply be as good as you allow it. So again, it's about changing our mindset, changing how we look at life, changing how we even, view the world, view reality. I just started thinking about it like, you know what? I be asking God, like, oh, can I have this? Or, oh, God, do you think this is good for me? Instead of being like, this is what I want. Like, because God, I know in my mind that God is not up here weighing the pros and cons and he's an observer. He's not a judger. He's an observer, and he's also a part of us. So he wants whatever we want. So just think about if we were like a spoiled ass kid, like a spoiled ass rich kid, right? With this, like a trust fund baby. God is literally like that. He will give you whatever you want. And that's why we get the good stuff and we get the bad stuff. We get the stuff that hurt our feelings. And it's like, you just have to start remembering that, okay, I always get what I want. So if I always get what I want, let me start focusing on what I really want, not on what I don't want, because that's what's messing up your manifestation. Is not because you're not getting what you want. It's because you're focused on what you don't want. So again, we got to make that mindset shift. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this reading up. I'm actually going to end this with a namaste blessing, because I do want to know what happens if from this moment on, God, we develop the skill to direct our thoughts. We learn to be more flexible in our approach. We learn to focus on our strengths, and we allow our life to be as good as we allow it. What is this judgment that is coming in? What are these towers that are going to fall down? God, please allow us to see the cards that we need to see. Allow no room for doubt or confusion in me or the viewer's mind. I'm really glad I did this. Thank you, too. Pop right out. I love it. A sunlight blessing. A ray of light. A sunlight blessing. A ray of light bursts through the clouds of uncertainty, and darkness transforms to light. A new day is born, and the first buds of spring appear. You are blessed with the birth of something new. A new season of your life begins with this very special blessing. So this is what God is saying. The tower is falling, but it's breaking. So it's breaking away so that you can have new things. This is what God is saying. As soon as you decide, make up your mind that you're going to develop the skill to direct your thought, to only focus on what you do want, God is saying you're going to have a sunlight blessing in your life, and it's going to open up the door to a whole new season. And trust me, y'all, I am a living testament that this is a reality. This actually does happen. The last blessing that will come into your life is a crystal clear blessing. You will soon be blessed with great clarity. Your destiny is calling and your soul is shining. It's infinite wisdom. You are blessed and protected and guided in all that you do from this moment on. And remember, I was telling you guys, as soon as you make up your mind that you're going to live your life for yourself, everybody, your spirit team, your spirit guides, everybody is so happy. Everybody gets on board and they all start moving in water cord to get you to your dreams. So what are you going to do? All right, last final blessing, just because I want to see it. Your blessed power. You are in a field of endless possibilities with unlimited power to create. Every atom of you is full of abstract potential that can be modeled into any form. Every particle of you holds the blueprint of creation. You are a force of nature and a great blessing of this earth. This is what God wants you to know. You deserve all those blessings and everything you want just simply because you exist. And I'm going to leave you with this beautiful quote that actually our Mama Angela Bassett told us at, I want to say it was the Image Awards. No, it was the Emmy Awards. Anyways, your life is already a miracle of chance just waiting for you to order its destiny. Toni Morrison. Your life is already a miracle of chance just waiting for it to order your destiny. So guys, that is all the messages I have for you. If you made it to the end of this message, please give me a thumbs up. Sorry about that. If you made it to the end of this message, please give me a thumbs up. Anyways, sorry, I'm so sorry. That threw me off. Because I could have swore I turned that off. Anyways, if you made it to the end of this message, please give me a thumbs up. If you are not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Until we meet again, dream those dreams. Never let the internet rush you, and never ever let someone tell you what you cannot do. Talk to you soon. Talk to you later. Bye.